Hello there guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to a brand new video. And hope you guys had a lovely day this week. Of course, this week the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League is back. We had good results, we had bad results. Of course, Man United horrendous defeat, what a bad defeat against Young Boys. Tottenham against Wednesday ended 2-2. West Ham, 2-0 against Dynamo Zagreb at home, especially when Tottenham lost. They're really good under David Moyes, They're playing really well under him. Of course, Leicester drew against Napoli after being 2-0 up. So I knew, so I predicted that game could be a draw because Napoli are first in their league. That should have been Juventus, but Napoli are first in their league, so that's why it's going to be tough for them. But yeah, City, I mean, the only England team in Europe not to win in different competitions is Manchester United because they are the team who've lost. Whereas for Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, um, Leicester drew, Tottenham drew, and West Ham won. Those are the six teams, yeah, that didn't lose except for United. So yeah, so it's been a hell of a week. But that 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 match day one is done. So now it's time to move on to my Premier League predictions match day 5, which starts tonight. And the first game tonight, of course, is going to be Newcastle against Leeds United. But before I talk about that game, if you are new, hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, share this to everybody that you know so that they can write down with my predictions and see how I got on, and hit the bonus notification so that I never miss any of my series on Premier League predictions and also some other videos that I'm going to upload. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, please. Please make sure you do that. So yeah, the first game of match day 5 starts tonight, which is Newcastle United against Leeds United. Of course, I think both teams still haven't won a game. There's been a couple of draws and some more of losses, but no wins between either of them. So this is going to be a very interesting game. The big question is, who is going to get their first win of the season, Newcastle or Leeds United? Because they cannot afford to leave this game without 3 points. Newcastle at home, tough place to go to. They did one under West Ham, but they've lost to them 4-2. um, against Manchester United. So unlucky, yeah, not to beat them. The way they got chances and should have beaten them, but they knew that they would lose because of the Ronaldo. So yeah, Leeds United. I mean, they're not doing really, really well. I mean, especially that red card incident, which, like I said, I really didn't know what happened. I haven't watched it, and I'm so glad I didn't. I didn't want to see that again, so I'm really not sure. But Leeds, they're not doing that well. I mean, I think they only drew against Everton and that's it. Yeah, the rest of the games were just lost, lost, and lost. So Bielsa's under some serious trouble. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that game tonight to see which team, yeah, is gonna get their first 3 points of the season. So that's why I cannot wait. For this game, of course, tonight, I think I might go for 2-0 for Newcastle. I think, yeah, that this is their chance to get 3 points because, like I said, they, they did one against West Ham, but couldn't manage to get the win. The same thing of Manchester United, chances but couldn't beat them. So I think this time Newcastle, I believe, under their manager, is going to get the first 3 points, and I believe they'll keep a clean sheet. Because of their defense. So I think the person, the players who will score in that game is Callum Wilson and Saint Alex Maximan. That is it. So for Leeds United, even though Patrick Bamford is still their best player, he hasn't been scoring for Leeds United at all. Or maybe he scored against Everton. I can't remember, but yeah, so it's going to be tough for him. But for this game, I'm going to go for 2-0 Newcastle win. If Leeds United win, then Newcastle is under some serious, serious pressure now because they don't want to be like last season. So for this game, I can see Newcastle getting a win. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's how it is. But yes, the first game of the match day 5 starts tonight. I'm going to go for Newcastle 2, Leeds United 0. That is my prediction. So we move on into another game, Wolves against Brentford. So for this game, I'm going to. The reason why I went for Wolves win is because they beat Watford 2-0 convincingly, even though Watford did so well in the first half. But for Brentford, I would have personally thought that they would get a win against Brighton because it's playing at their stadium and it's a tough place to go to. But they've allowed Brighton to get the last minute winner, and that's how Brighton got 9 points so far this season. They're just unbelievable. But for Brentford, facing Wolves at home is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy because in in I mean, when they faced Tottenham at Molineux, they were so unlucky not to beat them. The same thing as the United. So for this game, I think it's going to be a struggle for Brentford, either for the fans, the manager, and the players, because Wolves they do well at Molineux under the new manager. So for this game, I'm going to go for another Wolves win of 2-0. I know they'll keep a clean sheet because a defense. I hope Traore scores or gets an assist because he has been, even though he does really well playing on the left hand side, he hasn't been that great. He hasn't got goals and assists, so I'm really worried for him. But hopefully tomorrow, when these two meet, hopefully Traore gets a goal and an assist so that he can get back the way they were 2 years ago. So yeah. So for Brentford, it's going to be a struggle. So that's why I'm going to go for a Wolves win of 2-0 since he's playing at Molineux. Now, this game, of course, both Norwich City against Brent Watford. Now, before I record this video, I was really, really, I was really, just thinking to myself, oh my days, I mean, is it going to be a draw? Or either Norwich City or Watford going to get their first win? Because if you look at Norwich City, they are in 20th place. I think they've only scored once and conceded uh, ooh, maybe 10 goals. Yeah, they conceded 10 goals and they scored one. So that's why they're in trying to. Whereas for Watford, I think they've won the first game. They've lost against both Wolves and Tottenham. So and I think they drew against and sorry Brighton. So yeah, both of them have a really poor start. For Norwich City, I think it's going to be a struggle because Watford are still a decent team. They've got the likes of Sarr. They've got that those are the only Watford players who I know. The rest of them I really don't. So yeah, Norwich City, I think they could lose a game. But as no- but if they can pull up a shock and beat Watford and because every single season when they get back to the Champions League championship they win, then in Premier League they do bad, they get relegated. So I think North City have to really try their best to make sure that they stay for the Premier League next season. Because if they keep on doing like this, lose after lose after lose, then it's going to be a real problem for Norwich City. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for Watford win. I think Watford will be all over them. I don't think they will concede more than 2 goals. So that's why I'm going to go for a 2-0 Watford win. But yeah, Watford, I think they'll get their win back. Especially losing 3 games in a row. So yeah, whereas for Norwich City, it's going to be worse for them. Yeah, it's going to be worse for Norwich City. So oh well. The next game, of course, is Burnley against Arsenal. Now, this game, Burnley are looking for their first win at home for 12 games because the last time they've won a game was in January this year. So that's like 8 months ago since this happened. In the last 12 home games, it's been a couple of draws, but more losses. So yeah, but the interesting fact is that Burnley are unbeaten 3 times against Arsenal, 2 draws and 1 win. That's it. 0-0 on the Emery, 2-0, sorry, 1-0 against Arteta at the Emirates, and then 1-1 at Turf Moor. So yeah, but for Burnley, they really, really, really got to pick up their first home win of the season because if it continues like this, then they are going to be serious trouble like Norwich City. For this game, I can see Arsenal win because, I mean, I mean, it wasn't because even though I did say that Arsenal are going to score 3 goals past Norwich City, they've only scored one. But I think Arteta needs to pick the right players, play them in the preferred position so that they can score goals. Because imagine if Burnley win against Arsenal for the first time in 1973. That's like 48 years, 48 years. Imagine that, And like Troop said when I watch these videos, Arteta, when it comes to games like this, he likes to break records at the wrong time. Everton beating also at the Emirates for the first time. The same with Leicester, Everton doing the double, he just likes to break wrong records, Arteta. So he has to fix this because if Arsenal lose, then the win against Norwich City, oh boy, then it's going to get worse and worse. But I see an Arsenal win. I think they will win because since they're not playing in Europe, at least they give them a chance to be like Chelsea. Because remember, we didn't play in Europe in the 2016 to 17 season, but we managed to do that next season. So that's the focus. I think the focus for Arsenal is to be like Chelsea. Of course, not being title contenders, but at least challenging for Europe, whether it's the Conference League or the Europa League or the Champions League, that's their focus. So yeah, and in order to do that, they've got to win, especially this game. So for this game, 2-0 to Arsenal. 2-0 to Arsenal. If Burnley win, oh my days, God help Arsenal. God help them, and especially the manager. So yeah, but even though I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm gonna go for 2-0 Arsenal. The next game, of course, is Manchester City, the Premier League champions, against Southampton. Now, Southampton are really having a poor record as well. Still no wins, I mean, 2 draws and 2 losses, I believe. Let me check. They drew against Man United and West Ham. No, yeah, West Ham. They've lost to who? They've lost to Everton, and I think some other team. I cannot remember, but yeah. So Southampton have a really poor record, 2 draws and 2 losses, and they're looking for the first win for the season, but I don't think it's going to happen because they're facing a team that is the champion of England, and that is Manchester City. So. And I saw Manchester City play against Leicester, who are a decent team. They scored 6 past them. If you look at Jack Grealish's goal, oh my days, that is a brilliant goal. And even though they conceded 3 goals, they managed to score 6 against a really good team because Leipzig are a decent team, and they managed to score 6. So for this game, I'm going to go for 5-0 Man City because I think they will be all over Southampton. They will get more shots than them, more possession, more on target, everything, more passes and more people inside the box, the likes of Jesus or Raheem Sterling who will be inside the box and who can score. So that's why I'm going to go for Man City win of 5-0. If Southampton do beat them, then that'll be a shock. But for this game, I'm not going to see that happening. So 5-0 to City because they're the champions and they're doing so well. And guess what? They haven't even signed a striker yet and they're still doing well. That's how good Man City are. That's how good they are. So this game, 5-0 to Man City. That is all. That's my prediction. The game, of course, which I beg Crystal Palace to do, is Liverpool against Crystal Palace. And of course, it's going to be playing at Anfield. Now, just imagine the likes of Zaha, as also an Edward, Conor Gallagher. Imagine if they did that same performance against that they did against Tottenham, then I know that they would definitely win. But Anfield is a difficult place, especially since they're the Champions League winners 6 times in their history, and also the Premier League winners, 2 seasons ago. So it's a really tough place to go to, a really tough place. So unfortunately, as much as I like Crystal Palace to beat Liverpool, I'm going to go for 3-0 Liverpool because Salah has been scoring goals. He scored against Leeds United, puts him in 100 Premier League goal club, the likes of Ali Shearer, and he's the fifth player to reach 100 goals. He done it in 124 appearances for Liverpool. Of course, he played for Chelsea, but he played more again for Liverpool. So yeah, the likes of Salah, Sadio Mane, Diego Jota, all these type of players, including Virgil van Dijk, they've got a really strong squad, and it's going to be at Anfield. So for Crystal Palace, it's going to be a struggle. But if they can pull out that performance against when they played against Tottenham, then I'll be very, very happy. But unfortunately, I'm gonna go with what my head is saying: 3-0 to Liverpool. 3-0. That's all I got to say. So I know Liverpool are still going to be title contenders, even though they just signed one player. So yeah, that's all. The next game, of course, is Aston Villa against Everton. Now, of course, Everton were absolutely superb against Burnley, especially in the second half. The first half was a bit boring, but the way they could have destroyed, Burnley, let's say like 5-1 or 6-1, had it not been that offside. But Burnley, I knew they would not stand a chance because the likes of Andros Townsend, with Charlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, all these type of players would be really doing well for Everton. The Aston Villa, of course, we beat them 3-0, but they were so unlucky not to beat Chelsea because Chelsea were having a poor performance but still managed to beat them. That's how good we are. But Aston Villa should have scored maybe once or twice the way that we made our mistake. But yeah, we managed to keep a clean sheet. So for this game, I'm gonna go for a draw. I'm gonna go for a draw because I think this will be a good game. I think both teams don't like to lose. So if Everton lose, that will be the first time they've lost this season because remember they're unbeaten, 3 wins and 1 draw. So Everton are still unbeaten. So if they lose to Villa, the first half of the season, whereas for Aston Villa, if they lose, that would be their fourth loss of the season. Yeah, no, 1 draw. They've lost against Chelsea, against Watford. Sorry, third win. Yeah, that will be their third loss of the season if they lose to Everton. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a draw 2-2. I think there will be goals, but it's gonna be a draw because it's tough to predict if both Aston Villa or Everton will win. So that's why I'm gonna go for a draw. The next game, of course, was a tricky one. Brighton, Hove Albion against Leicester City. Now, of course, Leicester City were 2-0 up against Napoli, but that striker was absolutely brilliant. He saved the point for Napoli. But yeah, Leicester City, they still got Jamie Vardy, Maddison, Kelechi Iheanacho, Kasper Schmeichel, James Maddison, all these type of players. For Brighton, they've got Busimo who's been doing well. Who else? I've forgotten. But yeah, this one was tricky because it's excuse me, it's at the Amex Stadium, It's at the Amex Stadium. So yeah, it would be great to see Brighton beating Leicester City. But I just remembered if that actually happened, then Brighton would be above Chelsea and all the rest of the teams. So I definitely don't want that to happen. For Leicester City, I think they will nick it 2-1. I think they will concede, but I think they will maybe perhaps score in the last minute. Let's see, like above the 80-minute mark, because the likes of because they've got a brilliant squad, a brilliant squad. So I think they'll nick it 2-1 Leicester City. I think they will go for a win after they've lost against Man City 1-0, even though Jamie Vardy was offside and it should have been, 1-1, just in case. But yeah, Leicester City still have a great squad. They still have a great squad. The next game, of course, is West Ham United against Manchester United. Now, of course, I think Man United will bounce back, and they have to because I watched the Young Boys against Manchester United, and I didn't expect Young Boys to win because Manchester United have got a brilliant squad. They've got Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored 3 goals in 2 games. Bruno Fernandes scoring big goals. Pogba 7 assists in the Premier League. Luke Shaw, best left back, Wan-Bissaka, all these type of players they've got. I thought they would destroy Young Boys by maybe 3 or 4-0, but Young Boys weren't scared. They weren't scared. They made Cristiano Ronaldo pissed, absolutely pissed. He must be thinking to himself, why did I sign this club? Why? I scored a goal and they just let that last minute goal that conceded. Why did I join them? So that's what Ronaldo is thinking. But I think they will bounce back because um, the London Stadium is a tough place to go. I think last season they beat them 3-1 because West Ham were 1-0 up, but they managed to make a great comeback to make it 3-1. And I think Manchester United don't have a poor record when facing West Ham, especially at the London Stadium. If it was at Old Trafford, they have a great record, but coming there really poor. So I think Man United will bounce back and they have to because if they lose against West Ham, I can see Manchester United fans going Ollie out, Conte in straight away, Glazers out. They don't care. So yeah, Ollie has to really, really think straight and make sure he doesn't bring off anybody. Especially like Ronaldo or Bruno Fernandes, because when they took off and put on Jesse Lingard, that changed the whole game. And especially the one beside the red card as well. I'm not going to forget about that one. But yeah, that changed the game. So Oli really has to turn it around. Otherwise, he's screwed and he's done. He's done. He's not gonna. And I think it is like this year. I think he, as a manager, is going to be the only manager, yeah, that is a top four manager, but no trophies. No trophies. Jose Mourinho managed to do that. Win the Europa League. Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager for Manchester United. Ever since he's left, Manchester United have gone down a bit. They're still in the top four, but 4 seasons in a row, they still have won a trophy. But that's why Oli has to really work hard if Manchester United are going to be title contenders. So for this game, I'm going to go for 3-1 Man United. I think West Ham will score first, but I think Man United will make a great comeback to make it 3-1 like they did last season. So yeah, 3-1 is my prediction in that game. And the last and not least is the big game of the weekend and the London derby. Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur, or the other way round, and it's going to be played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now we have a really good record in their new stadium, unbeaten. Of course, the last time they beat us in that stadium was, of course, the Carabao Cup when we lost 3-4 on penalties. That's the last time they beat us, but that's in a different competition. But in the Premier League, we faced them 2 years ago, beat them 2-0. Willian scored the only goal. Scoring a brace, sorry. Then last season, Jorginho scored a penalty after Eric Dyer fouled Timo Werner on the edge of the box, and it could have been more. So in the Premier League, we have a really great record: 3 goals scored and none conceded. And you know what? Tottenham don't even look like scoring against Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because they scored 0 goals when they faced Chelsea at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And they've got injuries like Bergwijn is injured. I think Eric Dyer is injured. But Son could be back, and Harry Kane has been shit in the last 2 games. Shit. No, just no attempts in that Crystal Palace game, and I don't think any player fed the ball to Harry Kane so that he can score. So Harry Kane in the last 3 games has been shit. But for Chelsea, I know that we can win because the likes of Lukaku, yeah, 4 goals in 4 games is unbelievable. If he can score against Tottenham, then Tottenham are going to be very, very pissed to see a world-class striker scoring against them. So yeah, hopefully Lukaku gets as much surface. If we want a Lukaku to score more than 20 goals in the Premier League, because if he doesn't get enough surface, then it's not his fault. He's always getting inside the box in the right time, but the players aren't feeding the ball to him. They're not. So that's the thing I want Chelsea players to do. Feed the ball to Lukaku, and then you can see how he can, and then you see that he's going to score for Chelsea. Just feed the ball to him. That is all I'm saying. So yeah, Tottenham are looking in serious trouble, especially when they lost against Crystal Palace. They were all over them. So I'm hoping that Chelsea can do the same thing what Crystal Palace did against Tottenham so that we can beat them and keep a clean sheet. But for this game, I'm going to go for 2-0 Chelsea. The players who I think I'm going to score are probably Lukaku and probably maybe Jorginho for the penalty. That is the two players who I think is going to score when Chelsea face Tottenham at the Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. So yeah, looking forward to the game. Confident 2-0 Chelsea. If we lose, embarrassing. But if we win, haha. Because I want to laugh at Tottenham's face. Yeah, after they bowled it against Crystal Palace and bowled it against Wednesday in the Conference League. So I would love to laugh at them if Chelsea do win. So yeah, that is my prediction for the big game, a London derby, of course, the rivalry between Chelsea and Tottenham. So 2-0 Chelsea is my prediction. And there you go, guys. That is it. That is my all of my Premier League predictions on match day 5. So I'm gonna run through my Premier League predictions one more time. So the first game I went for Newcastle United 2, Leeds United 0. The next game I went for Wolves 2, Brentford 0. I'm gonna go for Norwich City 0, Watford 2, Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, Manchester City 5, Southampton 0, Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 2, Everton 2, West Ham United 1, Manchester United 3, and finally Tottenham 0, Chelsea 2. That is all of my predictions. Now, hopefully this match day I get more than 11 points because as my target I want to beat my previous score, my highest previous point. So hopefully I'll get more than 11 points because if I go down to 8, that would be disappointing. But I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get more points. But yeah, hopefully I'll get more than 11 points on match day 5. And hopefully I'll get a couple of 3 points. Maybe I'll get one of the prediction wrong and then yeah, hopefully I get 3 points and then I'll know that I'll definitely got more than 11 points. So yeah, looking forward to the Tottenham against Chelsea. It's big game. That's the big game of the weekend. So yeah, looking forward to that game. So that's it, guys. That's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. Don't forget to hit this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Hit the bell notification so that I never miss any of my series. And share this to everybody that you know so that they can take down my penalty predictions and see how many points I've got. If you know, let me know in the comments down below or DM me on Instagram so that I'll see if you're right. But thank you guys so much for watching and make sure you check out tomorrow's video where I'm going to do a match preview for Tottenham versus Chelsea. Since the game kicks off on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. UK time, so make sure you tune into tomorrow's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Look after yourselves, take care, and goodbye.